What's up YouTube, this is MetallicTCG here, coming at you with another Duel Links deck profile, just because I feel like it'd be pretty fun. So I have been playing a lot of Duel Links lately, and I decided I was going to be able to upload some of the decks I have been playing and been working on, just so I can be able to get you guys' feedback on some of the decks I've been playing. But of course, also just kind of like getting some ideas of what I can do to tweak the decks to be a little bit more optimized. So thank you so much for tuning in the video. Don't forget to subscribe and also follow me on Twitch to see me actually playing these games and duels on stream, but also just be able to be part of the community as well. So let's just jump right into it. So currently we're playing 2 Keeper the Dragon Magic. Keeper the Dragon Magic is actually fantastic for any fusion deck, but this is also really good for Neos for sure, just because we can use it to be able to search out for Neos Fusion or even Polymerization itself. And one of the things I really do love about it as well is by discarding a card to be able to add that, it can also help set up your graveyard for your Miracle Contact plays or even Neospace Connector. And of course, with Keeper the Dragon Magic, you can actually reveal a fusion material special summon it face down. So this card is fantastic in the deck. I can't say how much great it actually is, and it just gets a lot of things going too. So playing 2 of those just because that's the most copies I have, but you could probably bump this up to 3 and be fine. We have 2 Neospace Connectors, kind of the same thing. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a Neospatian or a Neos from your deck to the defense position. And then you can also tribute this guy to special summon one of them from your graveyard too. So, and the cool thing is you can actually use each one of the effects once per turn. So nothing's going to stop you from getting 2 monsters out. The reason why this dude is so good is just because it's an instant Neospatian contact fusion, which can be very beneficial, especially if you're already tapped out on your Neos fusions for the turn, or what be the case. But again, and I'll actually have to talk about Neos fusion itself because there's something kind of important to be keeping in mind of. 1 Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. Honestly, the Neospatians that we do play, you don't need to play more than 1 typically, just because you can reuse these guys consistently based off of Space Connector and Miracle Contact. You can always get them back to deck. This dude is really good just because, honestly, Aqua Neos is really fun to kind of mess people with, just because you could just simply snipe out their hand. And also being him with 3000 attack on the board due to our ability with Neospace, it's not a bad time at all. We also have Air Hummingbird, just because the life point gain is pretty nice, but it's also a good Neos fusion target for Brave Neos. And of course, you can easily make Storm Neos if you really need to. Just the ability to be able to kind of get rid of all spell and traps on the board, but also shuffle everything back into the deck is also really nice, especially when we have to go for a desperate play. So that's why we're playing these 2. It just helps us get things moving. We're playing 1 Flame Scarab, but honestly, Flame Scarab and Flare Neos is probably the most consistent ones you'll go into, just because of how strong this guy can actually get when he's actually paired with Neos. Like, you can get easily into the 5000s. Especially when you start abusing things like Power of the Guardians. I'm playing also currently 1 Neos right now. Honestly, I'm kind of debating about bumping this up to 2. The reason why is because I've been noticing that there's been some situations where I'm often finding myself wanting to have 2 Neoses instead of just 1. And if you really wanted to, you could actually play Grand Merge in this deck if you do add the Neos. And it's just kind of funny because Grand Merge is actually a pretty powerful card, especially when you use 2 Neoses, but also the effect that he can do is really nice. But of course, this is the heart and soul of the deck for all your Neos fusion spells, so definitely important. Miracle Contact is honestly one of the best cards in the game, especially during the late or the mid game, just because it recycles your resources, and also it allows you to keep going. Like, you can honestly use Miracle Contact and then Neos Fusion and still have a good time. Playing 2 of those just because it's a nice number to help reset your resources. We're playing 1 Cosmic Cyclone. Unfortunately, this deck doesn't have a lot of spell trap destruction on its own aside from Storm Neos, so we gotta play the 1 Cosmic Cyclone. This is really important for getting things over like Power of the Guardian, along with some other spell or traps that can be detrimental to your game state. So the 1000 life points honestly is not a huge deal at all. 2 Neos Fusion, just because all we can play is 2. Special summon 1 fusion from your extra deck using exactly 2 monsters as material, including Neos, by sending them from the deck, hand, or field to the graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions, and then for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters. So obviously, when you're going to go through and play, you want to use this card last, because you want to get your Polymerizations, Miracle Contacts, and your Space Connector and Dragon Fusion plays out first, just so you can still special summon. But the good thing about this card as well, if a fusion monster, including elemental heroes, would be destroyed by battle or card effect or shuffling the extra deck by its own effect, you can manage this card from your graveyard instead. So having that built-in protection and also effect presence is really nice. So playing 2 just because that's the most we can. I would play 3 if I could, but 2 is still great. Polymerization is actually pretty important as well, just because the reason why, it's kind of like a pseudo third Neos fusion. Neos himself can pretty much fuse with every card, every other monster in our main deck to be able to make out Brave Neos. Brave Neos is such a powerful card because he can add a spell or trap that includes Elemental Hero Neos in its text, which includes Neos Fusion, Miracle Contact, and Next of course as well. So having a Polymerization turn 1 and then going over to attacking the monster can help you set up for the next turn, which of course is really nice. Searching and setting up is really important to any card game. 2 Power the Guardians just because I feel like it includes like almost an auto lot in my battle-oriented deck, so just having a monster, especially with Flare Neos, can get really high is really nice. So I just like having both. 2 Drowning Mirror Force just because I'm a scumbag player and I love having this deck card just because this deck easily has OTK potentials. So for the fact that we can use Drowning Mirror Force and summon Flame Scare to attack for game, yeah, it's consistent enough for it to actually hold merit in the deck, and also just getting rid of your opponent's board state in terms of their monsters is pretty good no matter when you're playing it, because again, there's no destruction effects, so you just get shuffled back. 1 Wall Disruption. So honestly, this card is really interesting itself, just because lowering your opponent's monsters generally down to 0 or less than 1,000 is pretty good, especially because again, this is very much of a combat battle phase deck. Honestly, you can see about either messing with the numbers of Wall Disruption. It's not going to make or break getting rid of it. But personally, I like it just because of the added protection. Just because sometimes when you're playing this game, especially with Neos, if you eventually burn out of all your resources, having a little bit of protection is pretty nice. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I've been playing it. We're also playing 1 copy of Next. So you can special summon any number of monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard in a defense position that are Neospatian monsters or Neos. But their effects are negated as long as you control the special type. You can now special summon monsters from the extra deck. Honestly, that's not a huge problem. The fact that we can potentially get out 3 monsters in 1 turn is really good, especially in the fact that you consider that you can always do Contact Fusion, and of course Polymerization and Neos Fusion as well, so it can help you set up really good in that regard. And also even better if your opponent ends up getting rid of your Neospace, because we do play the ability to start off with Neospace with the Duel. You can activate this card from your hand if you control no cards. So having the surprise element factor is really nice, because it can disrupt your opponent's play. Alright, so we also have 2 copies of Brave Neos. I only have 2 copies. You probably don't need a third. It works out great. When you destroy an opponent's monster, you get to search out the spell or trap, which I mentioned earlier. And the fact that it gains 100 attack for each Neospatian in your graveyard, nice also benefit too. And Hero Monster, of course. Storm Neos. We've already talked about Storm Neos, a really good spell and trap blowout card, but also shuffling everything back. And of course, we've already talked about Neo Aqua Dolphin, just dude, because we can get rid of their opponent's hand, which is always really nice. And Flame Scarab, again, this dude just gets really big really quick. Considering if you just have your field spell and also like one other card, you can easily get up pretty high of itself. Because Neospace will boost it up by 500, and then its own effect will get up to 34. And that's with no other spell or traps on the field. Obviously, you can tell we're very much a heavy spell and trap deck, so you can easily boost this guy up pretty quickly. And I do also want to say that this deck profile was made before the release of the new Hero Structure deck that came out. So I will probably consider looking into testing out cards like Hero Blast, just because it has a great synergy when it comes with Neos to be able to return it from your graveyard to your hand at also destroying an opponent's monster, which is really nice. But yeah, that is the deck profile. We can definitely see about getting a duel or 2 in just so you can be able to see how it works and functions. So let's go check that out right now. Alright, so let's see what our opening hand is really quick here, shall we? Oh yeah, I definitely like that. So we already have a Neos Fusion right off the bat, along with Power of the Guardians and Drowning Mirror Force. Honestly, seeing those 3 cards in my opening hand is really nice because it's very disruptive, but also very aggressive. So, I mean, what we can... Actually, doing the math right now, we already have an opening OTK. That's actually pretty funny. So what we're going to do is we're going to first set Drowning Mirror Force. We'll normal summon the Space Connector just in case I needed a little bit more damage, but I think we're going to be fine, honestly. Because, like, this will be able to give me an extra 800, so we're probably going to first hold off on using Neos Fusion. Normal summoning this guy, I'm not going to go with the effective Space Connector because it doesn't matter. Then we're going to go with the Neos Fusion play. We're going to grab, obviously, Flame Scarab just because of the OTK potential. We're going to send them both to the grave, special summoning this. This will get them off to, what, let's see, 3,800 right off the bat. But that's also not including Power of the Guardian along with his battle effects. So we're going to go to combat now and just swing, and we're going to do 4,100 points of damage right here. And there you go. This is also pretty much like how the deck goes, especially with an OTK. But yeah, pretty consistent, especially with all the copies of the cards we're playing. And there you go. That's pretty much Neos in a nutshell. It was a very quick duel, but honestly, that's generally how it goes unless you're facing off against like high tier meta or just a deck that has a bad matchup with this. I'll probably do an updated version after I do some testing with the new support from the new hero deck. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below on the deck itself, and also just comment down below what you be playing in Duel Links on your own, because I'm definitely interested in hearing what other people play. If you want to see me actually play a deck in action, I do play Duel Links on Twitch every now and then, especially on Sundays, and I stream 4 days a week there, so definitely go check us out in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. Peace.